shifting the gear. If you're thinking too much, let go of the fear. If you got a friend problem, why not try being kinder? Cause complaining is easy, building bridges is harder. I'm just being honest, nobody owes it to you. But if I can do it, you can do it too. Defense, challenge brings the change. Meet me in the V-Dome. If you're stuck in the mud, try shifting the gear. If you're thinking too much, let go of the fear. If you got a friend problem, why not try being kinder? Cause complaining is easy, building bridges is harder. I'm just being honest, nobody owes it to you. But if I can do it, you can do it too. Defense, challenge brings the change. Meet me in the V-Dome. If you're stuck in the mud, try shifting the gear. If you're thinking too much, let go of the fear. If you got a friend problem, why not try being kinder? Cause complaining is easy, building bridges is harder. I'm just being honest, nobody owes it to you. But if I can do it, you can do it too. Defense, challenge brings the change. Meet me in the V-Dome. If you're stuck in the mud, try shifting the gear. If you're thinking too much, let go of the fear. If you got a friend problem, why not try being kinder? Cause complaining is easy, building bridges is harder. I'm just being honest, nobody owes it to you. But if I can do it, you can do it too. Defense, challenge brings the change. Meet me in the V-Dome. If you're stuck in the mud, try shifting the gear. If you're thinking too much, let go of the fear. If you got a friend problem, why not try being kinder? Cause complaining is easy, building bridges is harder. I'm just being honest, nobody owes it to you. But if I can do it, you can do it too. Defense, challenge brings the change. Meet me in the V-Dome.
Meet me at the V-Dome.
If you don't know, we have Be Friends, the cartoon, coming out on Monday. We're very excited for it. So what's going on? So we're playing a little theme song. I think it's pretty cool, actually. You know what? I didn't love it at first, but it was because I didn't really know it. But now I'm feeling it. I like it a lot. Look at this hat we got. Why is his name escaping me right now? Help me out.
Our locker.
Thank you. Got
Can you hear me?
Locker's hat going on.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I got
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
What we're
Okay.
gonna do?
Just making sure. Yeah.
Set the background music. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful.
This is a high quality bar locker special right here. I really like it just because Arizona and everything in Arizona is cactus, kind of. So I just feel like it's an Arizona hat. And if it's not, I'm stealing it and making it my Arizona hat. So this is like a daily wear for me. I love this hat.
I love it. It matches what we see you walking with all the time. You're walking outside, you're getting your steps in. We see palm trees, we see cacti, all that stuff. It's working. So you know what? Good choice. I think it's a good choice.
What you got going on over there? You know what's interesting is I always feel like either you or I or both of us are eating, and I know personally I'm not trying to be rude to anybody on that's watching in our show. This is just kind of my time that I need to reload and refuel, and but I always find it interesting because it brings up great conversation pieces about, well, what are you eating and why are you eating it? You know, those simple things. So I know that we got a lot of stuff and we want to get through it. We want to maintain a certain amount of time, but you got to tell me, what are you eating right now?
Yeah, for sure. So if anyone new that's watching right now, we got BroFit down in Arizona, the amazing Brian Lang down in Arizona. I'm up here in Brooklyn. Ryan Turner, trainer, registered dietitian, coming together. Superpowers. We're basically Captain Planet when we come together here. So just know that if you need just the TLDR, that's basically what this is. But we're here 3 days a week. This is our third week right now, but you know, it's a space that I think we are able to kind of show up. I think somewhat very, we can be here regularly, but overall, like middle of lunchtime, whatever's going on, like it's nothing too incredibly serious, but we want to bring up a few things. One, kind of the state of the union of our clients and everything going on, you know, popular topics in training and nutrition. What are we seeing? How can we help someone out? Can we talk through some of those things? We also have movement that we always want to really get in. I think that a lot of us, and this is where Brian, let me talk for you here, but we are, you know, part of enough community. I was going to say communities, but I'm going to say, you know, largely one, but other people online. I think looking at everything we're doing, we're sitting here, we're sitting down, we're not moving as much, despite, our step challenge currently going on with my daily dad. But yeah, we want to keep everybody healthier, right? We want to keep you around for your kids. We want to make you a better, more confident parent for your kids, right? We're VDads, but you know, we're all VDads, right? Moms, parents, everybody. We want to make you healthier. So BroFit's always going to be showing us something that is going to work on posture, reversing the kind of non-movement that we're doing with our body, but you know, stronger. We want to talk blood sugar, we want to talk cholesterol, we want to talk brain health, all these things. And you know, we're getting vulnerable at certain times, but you know, I think that we're also pretty casual in terms of like, hey, it's lunchtime, we're going to talk about those things. And we've been really ending some of our streams here with a friendly debate on some topics that have been, you know, large or small or understood or not, but it's been really fun. We've been taking a topic and then we are either placed in the pro or the anti-category for certain topics. And we talk about those. I think it's a little banter, but you know what it does? It gets us thinking differently. So, you know, we talked about seed oils and other fats one time. We made sure that we kind of took some opposite opinions right there. We talked about it, but you know what it does? I think it taps my head and it gets my thoughts out, the knowledge I have, but then also shows me, I think, the vulnerable side of like, I'm missing some information. I got it. I got to go look this back up. So, you know, different topics, we're going to have them: carnivore, keto, you know, isometric movements versus throw in training topics and conversation. You have, well, what did we do yesterday? We did advanced tracking techniques or doing things based on feel. Yeah, which I thought was really interesting, actually. I thought it was good. And if anything, it's not even a debate. It's just, I think, bringing up topics that I think we should all be talking about. So it's good. Brian, you asked me when I started talking, you asked me what I was eating, but I wanted to make sure we got a good rundown of what we do because we have a purpose of coming in here. And we always try to get this done in about 40 minutes, but we failed every single time. But we want to make sure that you guys don't think that you're here for all day, but we know people are sitting at their desks. And if you can't do a movement with us or you don't know a certain topic and you can't get involved when we ask you to get involved and, you know, share something, that's totally cool. Take away from this something and use it as motivation for even later. But we are here. We'd love to even help you out live, or if you want to send us a message, we'd love to talk about something that is involving your health, your body, your mindset, training, nutrition, all those kind of things there. So, all right. Did I tell you yet what I'm eating? No.
No.
So, part of my lunch. I was telling someone, a client just before that, my wife has been great about me being able to kind of build out a little area for me to, you know, be streaming, I think, a little bit more often over here. I need to figure out what's going to go on this wall. There used to be a big whiteboard here. Two things: either a neon VDAD sign or something, or out of complete randomness, I'm thinking of a game. I'm thinking of I know what it is. I think I want to withhold the idea because it'll make me more excited to make it if I don't tell you. But I'm thinking of a game that could be really fun. So it'll be there. But yeah, so anyway, I'm not at the gym. I'm usually at the gym streaming. I'm at home right now. Usually eat my lunch there, but I'm eating my lunch here. And so what I'm eating is later than usual, but we have 3 hard-boiled eggs just cut up. Got a little bit of ground beef that was just seasoned with the great seasonings that have been sent to me from a chef that I love down in Philadelphia, Jen Carroll. She was a top chef, and her fiance, they run a great business down there, but they sent me, we were doing some cooking shows for a while. They sent me some spices, so I love to spice up my meats in different ways. So just some ground beef, a little bit of black beans in there, and I always have that high potassium microwave potato. I'm like somewhat, but you know what? I could eat anything as long as I know it's going to benefit my health, honestly. Like, it doesn't even have to be anything special. But yeah, that's me. That's what I'm eating.
I get that thought process. I used to have a saying in high school that the worse it tasted, the better it was for you. Now, that was kind of more regarding like a protein shake or something with all the crap that we just throw into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I think it's important. It sounds delicious. I think it's a fantastic meal. Sounds really, really good. I've got over here some real comfort food. It was interesting. You had mentioned to me at the end of our stream yesterday, we closed down shop and you said, "Are you okay? Like you just, are you doing okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm really, really tired right now." And about 5 minutes after that, I ended up getting just like the worst excruciating headache. And I was in bed pretty much from 11:30 until I had to pick up my son at 2:30. Picked him up, came home, laid back in bed until about 6 o'clock at night. And my mother came and she had my daughter and brought me some comfort food. And that's what I'm eating. One of my favorite meals. I will send a fun Beach Friends slab if anybody can name me my 3 favorite foods. If you can list all 3 of my favorite foods, I will go ahead and throw out a ridiculously nice slab to somebody. But anyways, beyond that, she brought me some of my comfort food. It's called chicken fricassee. It's very simple to make. It's very easy, and it's very much so comfort food. It's rice and chicken and a mixture of some onions, celery, and carrots. And then she makes this it's called a fricassee sauce. It's like a lemon. She takes chicken stock and about 3 or 4 cups of chicken stock, and then she'll add some butter. She'll add a little bit of flour and mixes it up until it kind of becomes like a nice stock, and then adds a little bit of lemon. And so it's just kind of like a nice little lemon zesty chicken and rice. It's just real comfort food. It's really easy. The more gravy, the better.
I love that.
So that's what I got going on.
Is it? And she's been making it for a while. Have you asked her to make that?
She knew I wasn't feeling well and brought it over, which was very nice. Mothers will always be mothers. But no, this is something I ate as a child. This is something that is just easy Saturday, easy Sunday meal, comfort food throughout the week. It's easy for her to make. You can make a lot of it. It tastes great with leftovers. You can pour the gravy on top of damn near anything. It tastes delicious. So I lucked out. My mom came over, took care of me. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, felt 100% better, got a whole bunch of steps in. So I've got about, 9 or 10,000 steps so far in for the day. And yeah, here we are.
Oh yeah, you're there. You're a lot earlier than I am right now.
Yeah, we're not even 11 o'clock yet, so it's still early in the day.
We're pushing 2. Where am I at? I did it. Usually this is the day I walk back from Manhattan, so I'm at 13.7 right now. 15 is my number. 10 is the definite I can get most days. I even had a 9,000 day this week, and that was like a weird day. But usually 10 is where I'm like that's like something's up if I'm not getting my 10 in. 15 makes me feel good. I know that like I pushed myself just a little enough. And I know that I'm going to feel healthy from that. And then I always say 20. 20 is where like I went out of my way to make that happen. So you know what? 15 is usually my goal. I think 15 is yours too, right? You are a very consistent 15 stepper.
Yeah. My goal's been 15 just for myself, but if I had to like write a paper or reflect on our process right now, it's too much for me personally. I think it encourages me to move and to walk at opportunities when I wouldn't normally.
Yeah.
But for the amount of time that I'm spending putting in towards walking, I feel like I could put that time and be more efficient with my time, my movement, and get the same amount out of it, if not a lot more. So for me and my purpose of my goals, it just takes me time. That's the biggest thing. It's helped me focus. It's helped me clear a lot mentally. So I love that aspect of it. I don't want to take away from that. So there's a lot. Perfect example. I look back on all my numbers, and my numbers are more like 5,000 realistically, consistently throughout the year. During the entire year, I'm doing about 5,000 steps a day. I don't do a ton of steps. I do more movement in here for half an hour or so, and then get out. And I'm kind of just walking around the house. I'm a stay-at-home dad, so my movements, my steps are minimum. So to go from 5 to 15 it's a lot. It's not like, it's not like a little bit. You're tripling up your steps every single day, and you're doing it consistently. So even like last night, I realized, okay, well, it's bedtime. My son's asleep. My daughter needs to go to bed. Let's put her in the stroller. I got 3,000 steps left. Let's take my magnesium and my sleep drink and walk around the neighborhood up and down the street a few times until I crank out those 3,000. And if you look at my numbers, they're all about 15,000 almost exactly, or they're 15,100, or they're 15,053. So for me, I look at it as a challenge, and I try to crush the majority of those out in the beginning of the day. And that way I know I can coast and do the things that I naturally normally do.
Yeah.
But I think I can be much more efficient with my time and my working out. So I'd like to back that set 15,000 down to probably 9 and still add on from my 5. So again, incorporating a walk, I think it's very, very healthy, whether it's listening to the HealthDads in the morning, or just getting up an extra half an hour earlier, or walking to the grocery store instead of driving, whatever it is. I think it's a realistic improvement, and it's challenged me at times to stay committed. But I've mentioned this earlier on Twitter, that I get motivated and inspired from everybody else, from seeing everybody else moving, from seeing improvement, from seeing progress. And I feed off of all of that stuff, whether it's me going out and doing homework, like for you, like we talked about, right? I saw the things that you put in and the things that you threw out there this morning, right? And even though I was down and out yesterday, and I was like, shoot, I need to get these things going and yada, yada. It motivated me. It inspired me. Why? Because you're putting the time, you're putting in the effort, you're showing accountability, you're showing consistency, you're showing progress. And I want to jump on that. I want to jump on that fucking train with everybody, whether it's just 1 or 2 steps or 1,500 steps. It doesn't really matter. And so that's why I get geeked out and excited when Spaceman is like, hey man, I'm walking around with my 1 pound weights and I'm doing my shoulder thing. So I'm sitting down and it's just all about reps. I'm going to take that stride. I'm going to fucking rock with it. And I feel better. Hell yeah. Let me give you something now, because you've given me something. I want to give you back tenfold. And that's just how, and that as a dietitian, somebody shows you a whole week full of their food log and they're dialed in. You go, oh, hell yeah, let's go now. Like, we can really get in the nitty gritty and we can start working. I can see that you're putting in your time and your effort. And I want to be able to give that back to you. So I want to say thank you to the entire community for jumping on board and for getting outside their comfort zone and for taking those steps, whether it's form chaos, and it's starting to get freezing cold out there, or if it's Gramps and he's, just consistently doing his thing and motivating us all with an inspirational video, or Dom being able to hike up through the hills. Like, we see it, you cruising through the city, like I feel like I'm there with you guys at sometimes. So I appreciate everybody going out there and just trying to be a little bit better for themselves, better for their families, better for their significant others, et cetera, et cetera.
It is, you know what it is? It's all about, I think, just surrounding yourself with people that are going to be doing something you want to do, whether you are doing it or not. There's so many people, especially in the step challenge, that aren't, confident that they're doing everything. Sorry, I'm filling out our debate wheel that changes every single, and I'm actually making it very BroFit friendly right now. But we're gonna get there in a minute. Let's try and stay on time right now. I love what you just said. I think that my takeaway from all of that, and what I'm telling a lot of people all the time, is that you just have to surround yourself with the people that are doing the kind of things that you want to do. Whether it makes you uncomfortable or not, you have to do it. Like, I know for me, I want to be a better speaker, and I want to find myself on stage speaking more often as I get into the future. So I need to be speaking more and being with people that not only are speaking more, but are just willing to hear me talk. So it's definitely important for me to kind of get there, and that's what I'm doing. So I want to make sure that everyone feels, you know what I recently said? I'm going to take 2 minutes and say this. Recently, I've been pushing one of my older clients. I've been seeing him for a while now. There's a certain point where, we dietitians and trainers, we just find people who are forever kind of working with us. This guy has been that. And so we've worked through like a lot of different type of goals or, challenges that have been really coming up. But one thing in particular is that he travels, or he was traveling a lot between like DC and New York for his job. And I think that, him now being in New York, and because he's not working in DC anymore, has been really good. But, he did gain a little bit of unwanted, unplanned weight while he was definitely down in DC, and it was because he was eating out so often. He was also getting less steps, and surprisingly. But the thing is that I was trying to really work him up to actually walking the correct amount, and moving the correct amount. But he's also someone who would always say like, "Oh, I'm not losing any weight right now. I'm not losing body fat because I'm just not moving as much anymore." He would just completely give into that. But the one thing that he would always be doing is still eating at restaurants. He likes good food. He can buy good food. He's always, he loves his appetizers and his desserts. And despite what we talk about, right, he has a really hard time of controlling a lot of that. And so I understand it. And it's definitely something where I am going to, still give him the little tools that it's going to help him find that calorie deficit for body fat loss while he's out. It's still really hard for him. I know that his mindset goes to, if I just walk more, if I run, it's going to be good. So I'll just keep trying to run more. He'll play tennis, all this kind of stuff too. Why I'm saying this is because we finally had a breakthrough. He just went to, and I love when clients travel more. He just traveled to Switzerland, did some stuff in the Alps, and that was really cool. But he got a lot more steps in while he was there. And we've been working on his steps, so he was very excited. He texted me a couple times while he was there. He's like, "Look at my steps right now. He's getting to 20,000. This is a guy that, was getting only 8, and he would top out at 11. And so he's hiking, and he's getting all this kind of stuff too. But, he came in, and, he does have his thing with the scale. We do take a weight whenever he comes in to kind of know where he's at. Now, I didn't tell him his weight today because I know how much it affects his mind. Because if I told him today that he lost 4 pounds over the past 2 weeks, which is healthy, it's all within reason what we wanted to do. I told him, I'm not telling you what your number is today, because I knew that if I tell him, he's now going to go and celebrate, right? We always talk about that. You can't go out and celebrate, right? And he's like, I won't. But the other thing is, he was like, well, I did. He said, well, okay, if you tell me I lost weight because I walked more. And you know what? High five, he's right, whatever. But I turned it around a little bit and I said, but that's not really the case. And he's like a lawyer. And I was talking with someone too about how he always tries to get in like the last word. And I'm like, stop trying to get the last word in right now. Not that I need it, but like he always says something, keeps the conversation going. That's neither here nor there. But I said, no, you didn't lose weight because you walked more. I said, you walked appropriately for how you like to live your life. You decide to go eat out. You decide to eat the portions that you do. You just don't move your body consistently the way that you actually need to. If you decide to keep living the way you are, the way that you're eating your food, you, in Switzerland, finally walked the right amount that you want to walk to make sure that you're going to really find that little balance between those things. And so it's making sure that he doesn't think like, I'm walking more, I have to exercise more. No. You either, if you're going to have a hard time with your portions and everything, you're now going to have to match that with, the type of movement that your body needs to, counteract what's going on with food. And so that was a big kind of mind shift that we were trying to work on today. I don't know if it landed yet, but we'll see. So anyway, I don't know if that made sense, but it's been a good one. So.
No, and that's the stuff that I actually really do appreciate working with clients. The moment you said, like, I have kind of like a lifer client, it's, you go through so much with those individuals, and so many different obstacles come up throughout this time frame that you're working with them. And those are the things that I enjoy. That's why I like working with individuals and working with them here in person, because you get to have those connections, you get to see them, you get to experience, and like right now we can see our emotions and whatnot, but I can't see necessarily your body language. Like if I was right next to you, I would get a different picture and perception of who you are, what's going on in your life than what I'm seeing right now. And I think that's important, because you can get through some barriers, you can break through a lot of things, right? And you can't necessarily sugarcoat it. You can't hide behind certain things. It's just bam, right there in front of you. So yeah, that's cool. I started thinking about a client that I had, and she went through a lot of those things. Quick 30 seconds, short period, or short story on her. She still is 5'1", and she was 268 pounds when I first met her. She was about 48 years old, over 50% body fat. And within a year and a half, we got her down to 135 pounds, under 30% body fat. For the first time that she could ever remember, she was not legally or considered legally obese or clinically obese. And that was a huge thing. When I first met her, she was on 5 different medications for like insulin, blood pressure. I don't even know what the hell the other 3 were, but in a year and a half, we got her off of every single medication. And
it's one of the best things when you end up getting people to just take less medication. It's such a win.
It was just, yeah, like food and movement. What do you know? Food is fuel and movement is medicine. And you put those 2 things along with a positive mindset, and you'd be pretty impressed to see what you can start to accomplish. So anyways, let's move on and groove on, because again, let's try to hit that 45 minutes. We're 27 right now. We're failing.
It's okay. We're definitely not failing, but
it's the BroFit movement of the day. It's the BroFit movement of the day.
All right, we let it go twice because it's so wonderful. But it's a BroFit movement. It's that time of day where BroFit is going to be here. He's going to help us make sure that we are remembering how we can counteract a lot of our lifestyle we have now when we're over our phones, or we're feeling like we're not exactly too limber, right? We want to work on flexibility, we want to work on strength, we want to work on confidence with our body too. So BroFit's here. He's going to help us out. He's going to let us know exactly how we can move our body to support us. So BroFit, take the stage.
Hi guys, today we're going to work on our deadlifts. We're going to work on our hinging, something I think every single person does out there, especially as parents, and we don't often think about, is lifting things up, okay? Picking things up, whether we're going to the grocery store and we're picking up some dog food or just a bag of groceries, or, hey, there's my little baby girl and I want you to go grab her and pick her up and lift her up, okay? So I want to talk about how we can move correctly, move functionally, and while we're doing our basic chores around the house, just picking up little things, we can at least start to work on sculpting and working on and toning our butt and our hamstrings all at the same time. So it's kind of a cool thing. I like being able to get the most bang for my buck. So here we go. Let's get into it. It could be as simple as, guys, picking up a 5-pound weight or a ball. I'm going to put a few different things out here just to show you. It doesn't really matter what we lift, or it could be heavy, it could not be heavy, but how we pick it up
and totally just remember what BroFit just said here. This is something where I've seen so many people throw out their back picking up groceries, or their kids, or they don't pick up their kids. And so I think the confidence in how you move, like if I see someone that bends over to and they just only use their lower back, I mean, I feel for them. But if I see someone that starts to bend down and they straighten their back and they bend their knees and they get a little bit lower. I mean, this is also something too. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but you know what's coming up? We got snow coming up, at least up here in the Northeast. When we're thinking about how we're going to hinge and move, I mean, how many people throw out their back once they're actually shoveling, or they're even picking stuff up? They're picking up leaves off the ground in their yard and everything else that's really going on. Like, don't think this is only for the muscle building bro in the gym. Like, this is going to be for every single parent. And I think that's what we want, right? We want confidence in your health. It's starting right here. So pay attention to how BroFit's definitely lifting this up right now.
Yeah, guys, Turner really brings up a great point. I know my name's BroFit, and I know there's a whole bro thing behind it, and I got weights and all that stuff behind me. But if anything, I've kind of shown you through our sessions here and my morning coffee sessions is they need to be functional movements, things we can apply to every single day, right? It could be for Mr. and Mrs. Jones, who's 75, 80 years old, or this can be for little Timmy, who's 6, 7 years old. So they're really, really functional. But again, if you want to build, absolutely. If you want to build muscle, absolutely. You want to build strength, absolutely. You just want to move correctly and not get hurt, absolutely. So, again, let's go through it. Okay, so
remember, guys, just remember what
it's the BroFit movement of the day.
Nice.
So here we are. We're going to pick up this lacrosse ball right here. Now, naturally, if I saw something, most of us go, okay, and we just kind of like bend over and we grab it, whether we have this roll on this lower back or the upper back, or we have a combination. We have a tendency to do this a lot. And not that rolling our back is going to be really detrimental, or me picking up this ball one time is going to be very detrimental. But however, doing it over and over and over and over and over and over again is going to teach ourselves bad habits. Our body's going to overcompensate. Those overcompensations are going to start tweaking things, and it'll lead or can lead into injuries down the road. So it may not hurt you the first time or the 100th time, but over and over and over and over, you have a higher probability of getting injured. So let's talk about picking up that ball. Okay, real simple. You're going to hover over it, straddle right over it. It's going to be in the center of your mat, directly underneath you. I'm going to push my butt back, like I'm going to put my hands on my knees, and I don't want my back to be rolled out. So I'm actually going to perk my butt out a little bit. Okay. So my back is nice and flat. I'm straddled right over the ball. My hands on my knees, real simple. Okay. Again, I'm not rolling out my back. I'm just pushing my back. So my back is nice and flat. Beautiful, Turner. My shins are vertical. So I don't want to be in a squat position, but I'm going to push my knees back and they're going to be upright. So I should feel already tension in my hamstrings on the back side. From here, I'm going to release my hands. Hands go to the inside of my knees, and I will simply bend my knees to go pick up the ball and stand. Okay. So whether it's a ball or if it's a weight, hands go on my knees. I'm pushing my hips back. And then from there, I'm using my legs to pick up the rest. It's that simple. It's nothing super complex or crazy. So if I've got my yoga mat, cool, straddle it. So I'm going to just simply push my hips back. I'm going to imagine somebody's grabbing my hips and literally just pushing me back. Once I can't go any further, I can start to bend my knees and take that weight up. Okay, so notice I'm really
good, man. I got it. You know what? Whenever I stretch my hamstrings, and I don't do it often, I really try to do it. It just feels good.
Yeah, notice like you're just it's kind of like a stretch almost, and yeah, man, those look really solid. But back in the chair, shins are vertical and back is straight. So guys, again, we could lift really heavy weight, right? Here's a 70-pound weight. Straddle it, butt goes back in the chair. My back stays straight. My shins are vertical. They're up and down. From here, I bend the knees, squeeze my butt, because this is going to be now my main mover, my prime mover. And I'm going to squeeze the butt and stand. To reverse it, butt goes back in the chair. Notice where the weight is. It's not out in front of me. I'm pulling it so that it stays right underneath me. I want the weight to always be in the center of my mass. If the weight is out in front of me, it's going to pull me forward, and I'm going to be having, again, different pressure on the lower back. Okay. What I also want to try to get away from, you can squat into this. So I like to do the extreme hinge because I really feel a hamstring stretch and I've got longer levers. For some people, you might even feel more comfortable pushing your butt back in more of a squat position. So you can see now the relation from my shoulder to my hip to my knee is kind of making a C, like a Pac-Man position. Whereas if I bring my hips up like I was showing you, you can now see that angle is a little bit different. So from here, hamstrings are being used, butt's being used. If I push my butt down a little bit into that Pac-Man, now I'm forcing my quads to work a little bit more. Either one is okay, you guys. I prefer hips back and get into more of a hinged position on when I'm picking up things. And if I'm sitting down in a chair, I'll have a tendency to get more to that squat or upright position. Hope that helps.
It does. You always remind me, you always make me feel like I'm back in CrossFit class. The way that you are always discussing things and breaking it down. So I love that.
Beautiful.
All right, so we got your moving buddy. That was really good. Can I ask a quick question? What would you do? Someone wants to strengthen their hamstrings. They want to get their butt there. Give us a quick 1-2 on reps, sets, how you can kind of think of that.
Well, first off, what we did really help strengthen and lengthen your hamstrings, right? So I was feeling a stretch just like you were. But we were also we could add a little bit of load, and what do you know? Now all of a sudden we're creating a strength aspect in there as well. But to get to your reps and sets question, I personally love to do these hinges or RDLs as a warm up before I start getting into major deadlifts. So I might grab some 5-pound weights or some 8-pound weights, and I'll do the same thing. I can hold them here, slight bend in the knees. Butt goes back in the chair, and I'm keeping the weight as close to my shin as possible. My back is still nice and straight. I'm going to squeeze the butt, and I'm going to stand. And so now if I'm using this more as a stretch, right? You can see I'm not bending my knees as much once I get past my knees. I'm still keeping my back straight, but I'm allowing that stretch to occur. Where a deadlift, once I get past my knees, now I'm actually bending the knees. Okay, so this is a great little stretch. I would probably do 3 sets of 10 as a warm-up before I start getting into my deadlifts. Or if I'm doing, say, lunges or squats beforehand, I might use those as a finisher. Just I was like, hey, I want a little something extra to feel like I can tear down the muscle that I just really worked out and lengthen it up a little bit. And just to kind of get a little yucky finisher going. You can use that same thing, but I'd decrease the weight, increase the reps, get to about 20, 25 repetitions, 2 or 3 sets.
Awesome. Can I share with you, and then we're going to jump into our next segment over here. But I found this for myself, and I've talked about it before, but I developed a program, or just the mindset, I'm going to say, which is I just call it Habit 24. And the thing that has helped me the most is me telling myself the movements that you're going to do right now is going to be making sure that you are going to move. You're going to choose 4 movements, and we are going to make sure that you are going to, as I'm doing double time over here, you're going to do 24 reps of 4 different movements. Now, for me, I always have push-ups in there. I always do some sort of lower body, like a squat. Something just like this can end up being really good. Could be a good morning, maybe something similar. Let's just say biceps, triceps, but 4 different movements, 24 reps each. However, whatever the scheme is, 8 times 3, 6, 4, 1 times, whatever's really going on. But I always do it just so that, it helps me feel like I am doing everything that I need to for my body, and it really works. I really felt like it's kind of cut through some of the hard things about programming for myself.
100%.
Anyway, thanks so much for that. That was awesome. And if you didn't know, that was
It's the BroFit movement of the day.
We did it. He's keeping us healthy. He's keeping us strong. Mr. BroFit's going on. All right, we're coming up to our last segment right here, which is such the important segment. And if you don't know what that is,
this way, that way.
All right, this is where we have a healthy, friendly debate, right? About a certain topic that we don't know what it is yet. But we're going to take 2 minutes, and one of us is going to be for this topic, and one of us is going to be against. We're gonna tap our brains and talk about it the best way that we can. And I did see that there is a way for me to actually run a poll, which I was excited about, but I don't know how to do it still. So we're gonna run a poll at some point. We're gonna be able to do it, and we're gonna find how we can find maybe a winner at some point. Not that no one's really winning or losing. We're all just talking it up. So we're definitely happy. But we're gonna choose a topic right now. We're gonna do that. Now, there are some topics on here. Let me see if I can show you. Now, these are all training topics. I really wanted to lean into BroFit and more of his knowledge. What do I do here if I move these around? Is there anything special? We got just the wheel over here. That's cool. Does it change at all? Let me see. Guys, we're still learning some of these things. That's the font, though. That's not going to work. It's okay. Well, that's good enough. So these are all training topics, all right? And I think that they're all going to be pretty good. But we'll talk about it. We'll see what's going on. And if there's ever topics that we want to bring up in particular, more nutrition-based or anything, like we're definitely going to do that. But let's see what's going on. BroFit, are you able to see the wheel right now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Do you see anything interesting on there for yourself?
I'm just trying to read them all. Just kind of curious of what we got up there. This is new to me, so this is.
I promise.
No, everything's good. There's one that I'm not 100% sure of, but just we'll spin it. We'll worry about it later. I'm not too crazy about it.
Let's do it. Let's see. All right. So we got interval training. That's an easy one. We know what interval training is. How do we feel?
Oh, yeah.
We're feeling okay?
Yeah.
All right. So we got interval training. I'm just trying to see, is there any difference here? Interval training. All right, cool. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to set ourselves up. We're going to talk about this, see if we can get this done in 4 minutes. I don't think it's going to actually happen. But we are going to figure it out. Okay. I got a coin over here. Do you want to be for or against this topic on interval training? I
would like to be for interval training.
All right. Well, I think I asked this all incorrectly, but we'll do heads is going to be pro interval training. Okay. So heads, we'll see. And let's see what goes on. All right. It's tails. So I was thinking whatever was going to land on, you were going to take it. So interval training. Are you okay being anti-interval training right now?
It's all you. You got 2 minutes to start talking on it, right?
God damn it.
I got a timer.
All right. Again, guys, if you don't know.
It might be backwards for you, but we got a timer.
Okay. Hold on. I can't see it just yet.
I might have lost you. You're paused.
Oh, you're paused too. We'll come back.
Let's see what happens if you get back. Oh, I hear you.
All right.
There he is. All right. We're not paused anymore.
All right. Should be good. All right, guys. We're about
This way, that way.
All right. Here we go. I am going to get ready to talk about you go ahead and start. I'm talking interval training, and I am pro interval training.
Correct. You want me to start off, or you're starting off?
I'll start off.
Okay. You got 10 seconds.
Oh, goodness. All right. What's the direction I'm going to take on this? Let's see. We got this. All right. So interval training. You should be doing more interval training and less specific muscle training. If you do this specific muscle training, you're just wasting time. And if there's one thing that I hear most people tell me, it's that they just don't have the time in their day to do what they need to get done to make themselves a healthier individual. So why would you spend so much time on one muscle group or doing just cardio? That sounds like the most boring thing you can possibly do. I also don't think it's going to be the most effective or motivating. So when you're short on time, when you're short on motivation, and you want results even quicker, you need to make sure that you're doing interval training. You're going to get more done in a shorter period of time. You're also going to be able to work out not only things just like your physique by getting the resistance that you know everyone is telling you that you have to get in, but you're also going to get that cardiovascular benefit. You're not going to get that by having a bis and tris day. You're not going to have that by doing one specific workout. And you know what? On the other side, for all the runners out there, just running and only doing cardio, you're missing out on such the benefit for you getting at least some sort of resistance work in there. We don't live in the 1980s anymore. You need to drop the specific muscle group training and get yourself into interval training. And you don't have to go into CrossFit to get this done. There's simple things. We have a wealth of knowledge how to do this. We are not short on it. Google interval training. You can do that right now. You can set yourself up for success. And you know what? If you don't know how that's done, well, you have two guys here that can definitely explain it to you. Stop with the specific muscle training.
I was so hoping if you're gonna go with it, and if you don't know, now you know.
All right, now we're going pro interval. No, anti. No, yes,
Anti interval training. Anti intervals training starting in 10. Why I am anti-interval training. Let's be real. Most of us just want to look the part. We just want to look good naked. I want to look good with my shirt off. So if I'm going to work on my chest, I'm going to go hit up my chest. I don't necessarily need to be doing interval training for that. I can do specific muscle groups, you know, like my traditional back and bis or chest and tris or a leg day, and just hit up my reps and my sets. I don't have to worry about doing these intervals going up and down. And to me, especially with conditioning, if you're going to do some interval training and you stop and you have to stop, I'm just going to pass right by you. So interval training to me kind of sounds like the easy way out. Like I can get the most bang for my buck, and you know, let's try to go ahead and you know, get the most out of it. And I just look at that as kind of like a cop out kind of a deal. Personally, if I want to look better, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lift those muscle parts. If I want bigger shoulders, I'm going to go lift those shoulders. If I want to work on my conditioning, I can go hop on a Stairmaster, or I can go swimming or biking, and I'm just going to ride, right? So perfect example, if you have a sprinter or if you have a long distance runner and we go run a mile, I'm probably going to go ahead and take the long distance runner on that one, just because the short sprinter is used to doing quick explosive movements, but then their fatigue drops, their power output drops. So most short burst individuals don't have the capacity to go long term. So that's why I personally would pick a non-interval. I don't see the necessity of resting. You say you're trying to maximize on it, then don't rest, just go all out. Shut up and go.
I see. You brought both of those in there. You weren't so much anti. You just made sure you were going to bring them both in and showing that. All right. Well, here are some closing arguments. We're going to do 1 minute each for some closing arguments. We're going to see what's going on. If you guys are listening, we'd love for you to give us we don't have to be for or against it really, but who do you think made a really good claim for either for or against interval training? Do you interval train? Or is interval training just out? Is it older? Or are you just bodybuilding? Got it. We're good. Keep going. Oh, I was going to say. You're good. Let it go.
We're cruising.
It did. Okay, got it. Look, the interval training thing is obviously, I said it's going to end up saving you time. It's going to save you money as well, because you know that you're going to be spending so much more money, spending more time in a gym, more times a week. And so this is the way that you really want to do it. Not only that, but you can do it at home. You can do it on the road. You can do it while you're traveling almost anywhere. Now, we had BroFit telling us that what you can do is you can do all of these specific muscle group workouts. You just want to do it faster. Don't take any breaks. But I'll tell you this, is that if you are lifting specific muscle groups, you want that break time in between, because you want to be able to lift efficiently anyway, and not allowing things just like the overall phosphocreatine cycle to actually go through its own reps inside of your body to get you ready for that next set. You got to lower your weights regardless. So you're basically just putting yourself back into interval training. So what we want to make sure that you do is go interval training at all times, a higher intensity, save money, save time, save your brain from thinking that you're going to have to do more than you have to. John did it. That's it.
All right.
Feels like a fight sometimes. My goodness. Sometimes
This way, that way.
Feels like we are fighting. It feels like it sometimes. I feel like you'd kick my ass in a boxing match. I feel like you'd be able to duck and weave your way out of it, and I would just stand there, not sure what's happening.
I feel like I'm fighting for certain things because I agree with one side and not necessarily the other, but we have to take one side. So we end up, but I find that to be very interesting. And a lot of these topics, again, it's one or the other, and we have to pick one or the other, but we end up molding back together. And we've talked about that a few times on how really there's we can incorporate a lot of these things. And I'll my time is going, and I'll continue to talk with it right now. But interval training is very important. Like, let's be real. Like, yes, you can sit there and do your muscle breakdown, but ideally, you're kind of correct. You need to have some sort of break, and there's going to be some sort of rest period. Of course, you could go ahead and scale it and start on your heavy end, and then start to literally just break down, scale, so you can constantly keep moving, and your load is not as heavy. But interval training, I think, is ideal. That's why I talked about specifically our walks and our steps. Perfect example, really. And I know this is not the side I should be picking, and we're kind of bringing it back together, and I've ran out of time. But it really brings.
You know what it is? It makes you. I think it forces you to solidify your mindset around, why you might end up bringing both in, or why even defining interval training and then specific muscle group training. Like, you're looking at both of those, and I know that my mind is like, well, there's definitely so much of that gray area that's going to really be successful for someone. But I think talking to one more than the other, I think, makes you appreciate the other side that much more.
Yes.
I know for me that, like, I don't really love interval training. I actually prefer to do specific muscle group training just at a higher intensity. And so I am doing both. And I think a lot of people are. That's even what CrossFit is, so really is nothing wrong or right so much about this, but I actually do love this as an exercise. I really, really do.
If I realistically go out and I take 15,000 steps a day and I walk, and I take those same 15,000 steps a day and I go sprint 100, and then I walk 100, sprint 100, walk 100, or whatever variation of whatever number of steps you want to, but I'm adding in some sprints, I'm going to be a hell of a lot more efficient. I'm going to be a lot stronger. I'm going to have a lot more muscle breakdown. I'm going to probably burn more calories. I'm going to have a big more output. I'm going to be able to build more muscle than if I'm just constantly walking all day long. So for me, I look at it as the most bang for your buck. It really is. That's why I say, hey, I don't mind doing 15,000 steps. In fact, I've enjoyed it. There's a lot of clarity in my mind. There's a lot of peaceful times for me. It's actually really helped me fall asleep and stay asleep a lot easier, walking right before I go to bed. But I still feel like I can be more efficient with my time, and we have to be able to be realistic with the time that we're given, not only in the day, but in our lifestyle. Everybody's got a different lifestyle. They've got jobs, they've got kids, they got families, they got other priorities and things and obstacles that are in the way. So I love these arguments and these topics, because if you have the time, you may enjoy one side of it. You may not have the luxury and the time to be able to do the one side of it. You may hate the one side of it. Like, it just, what works for you? What are your goals? And there really is no wrong answer. It's just more of a personal preference and opinion based off of who you are, what your goals are. That's the fun thing about fitness, is there's so many different answers to it based off of what our given is. And our given is different with every other client. Yeah. It's just stay open to the other side of it. And, I always say this, I always try and sign off with it though, is like, if it's working for you, what your definition of success is, right? If it's working for you, your health, your mindset, and your definition of success, like, no one deserves to tell you different. That's why even this like little, it's like habit 24
scheme is like what I really put together. And I'm like, holy shit, nothing has actually worked better for me. And I've been very not nervous, but you know, it makes me worried. Not even that though. I think I understand where my lanes are sometimes, and I don't want to like lean too strongly into one side of the training, because I don't really take the trainer role. I stay more on the health and nutrition aspect of things. But yeah, they're always really, really good. And just remember, guys, whenever I make all of these logos, I always just want to make sure that I'm using them to their fullest potential. And also, not a better thing to use than
This way, that way.
And that wraps another This Way, That Way. You know what? I honestly feel like this theme song for VeeFriends is the best theme song for our This Way, That Way. It is, right?
I'm excited for Monday.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited for Monday.
Yeah. You know, again, if no one really knows, you know, we really were kind of born out of a community as part of VeeFriends, Gary Vaynerchuk's IP. And it's been a pretty amazing ride so far. But there's a great thing coming out on Monday. It's a cartoon. It is developed with the same company that it's Moonbug. They have developed things together with Gary and also VeeFriends, and so that's where we come from. But a lot of what these characters are that are part of this cartoon, because you see adults talking about this, you're like, what the hell are they talking about? Well, you know what? There's a lot of like soft skills and also hard skills that it's teaching kids, and there's not many things that I think have done that so well. I think that's where we're all connecting with it right now for one way or another. And what I've definitely found is that a lot of parents, especially, you know, dads, moms, both parents, they've been able to really, I think, attach to some of these characters because it's helped them understand and how to explain certain things to their kids, and even for themselves that maybe they didn't get when they were kids as well. So that's why we are very excited. That's where we came from. And, you know, that's part of our identity here. So that's what we're going to keep doing. Okay. So Monday, I think 8 a.m. Eastern, I think it's all out over on YouTube, coming out on YouTube Kids. Same company as Wimpy, same company as
Cocomelon.
Cocomelon, yeah. So all those are going to be pretty cool. What is the character that you feel most aligns with everything we talk about right now?
Ooh, that's going to be in the cartoon or just in general?
Well, good question. So there's 251 characters. 252 characters. 251 is always my go-to. It's 251, right? I know there's more than that, like characters, but the cartoons, I think there's 251. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But they're all like ranging from optimism to fearless to empathy. You know, what are you feeling like?
Well, a part of me feels a little consistent cougar because I feel like the word consistency has been coming up a lot.
Yeah.
A little me thinks about accountable ant, because holding each other accountability. I think those are two words that constantly come up. Consistency and accountability. So those two are really the ones that are reaching out to me. However, you and I've got something in the works right now, and I'm excited to bring it out. So I've got 3 other characters right now that are on my mind personally that are revolved around fitness, just because I know what's coming up for these 3 characters in the future, and not everybody else knows what's coming up for these characters. So I'm going to keep that as just kind of like a little alpha yet that has yet to be released. And yeah, I'm excited for people to see what we have in store for them.
Yeah, and also I think it'll be necessary for us to say it's all unaffiliated. This is all what we are working on. Is definitely all community-based, unaffiliated with the IP itself. But, you know, we're just having fun with it. Yeah, you know what? Curious Crane has been popping up so much more for me lately and making me feel really comfortable. So I honestly feel like Curious Crane would be the one that I would just like, I would ride into the sunset is what I would do at this point. I don't know. Anyway.
Is it weird that I have a list of actually those characters in my pocket right now associated with fitness? So if you want. But
you're also talking to someone who's probably biased.
That's very true. You got to be self-aware. So self-aware hair, that's on my mind as well.
Be there. All right, guys. Well, let's leave it there for right now. We're going to try and end in the next 40 seconds to make this under an hour because we're trying to get closer to 40, 45 minutes. We're good. We're definitely going to be there. But that's it, guys. We're here. Here's actually the HealthDads outro. But this is us. Any last words? Last quick words.
Don't be afraid to be great.
Nice. I love it. You stay so consistent. Way too much. Yeah, guys, I'll leave it there. Love you all. We'll see you here next week. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're here at 1:30 p.m. Eastern and 10:30 Pacific. We gotta go. I'm going under an hour.